variety of ideas that you can put to work in your organization. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Mark Orlandella and from Motorola, and he's going to take it from here.
I'm using this microphone, is that right? Good. Well, good morning, good afternoon actually, and thank you very much, Kathleen, for the warm introduction. And thank you very much for attending. It really shows that you're out there trying to figure out what technology can do to help you with your organizations. And my responsibility over the next hour is to guide you through some of the issues, some of the challenges, and also some of the opportunity in wireless, but most importantly, looking at wireless differently than you are today. Because there is just so much out there today that can be used that just is unknown. It's going to be me and my counterpart, Chris Noble. We're going to take you through the next hour. See if we can get this work. Very good. All right, and here's what we're going to do. Talk a little bit about where we've been in wireless, where we're going, the wireless industry as a whole, and then most importantly, where do you fit in, what can you do with it, how do you make this technology work for you? Now, we are going to have some interaction here, so it's going to be a little bit fun at some point. And we actually brought a few giveaways, so we're going to be asking some people to come up here and help. So please do not be bashful. Just, if you think you can help out in one of these little segments, please do. We have a nice little gift for you. Let's see what's in here. I see you have your choice of a bag, which is a Motorola bag made out of recycled phones. Pretty nice. Let's see, we have a T505, which turns your car stereo into a complete car phone, where you can play your stereo music from your iPad, or your iPhone, or your phone, or anything like that, plus talk and listen through your car stereo. Getting my commercial from Motorola. And then we have some other neat little things like Motorola mints and a fan and some stuff like that. Okay, so I'm trying to bribe you. I think that did it. All right. So let's take a look at where we've been. Now, question for everybody. Who's had a phone for the last 10 years? Raise your hand if you've had a phone for the last 10 years. All right, so about 80% or so, 90%. Now, who's had one for 15 years? The last 15 years. All right, it's getting a little bit slimmer. Now, big question, 20 years. Who's had a cell phone cell phone for 20 years? I apologize, I should have clarified that. Wireless cell phone. I get caught up in my own world. Alright, so just 15 years, it dramatically drops off. And, the industry has been growing so phenomenally. But looking way back when, first cell call only happened in 1983. First phone call was actually made to Alexander Graham Bell's grandson while he was in Germany. There's a picture of him using the phone. It wasn't working when he was in Germany, but that's a different story. So it was a photo out there. All right, first portable cellular phone. I don't know if any of you remember it, but it was made by Motorola. Yet another commercial. And it weighed, about 2.25 pounds. It was 13 inches small, plus the antenna. You had a fantastic 30 minutes of talk time. I don't know, that's usually a short conversation for most people now on their cellular phone. And it only cost $3,999.99. So that's where we were just a little while ago. Now, I know everybody's always asking, gosh, I don't want to pay $200 for that smartphone. I want to pay, free. How do I get it for free? Well, look at how far we've come in just such a short amount of time. And then the first rate plan, $45 a month. And what did you get for $45 a month? Nothing. There wasn't even voicemail back then. Not only that, it was $45 per month, plus for every minute of use, it was 45 cents per minute. Average phone bill was $239, and that was not using them like today, but using them only sparingly, only where there was coverage, etc. Okay, so we've come a long way. And now There's 286 million subscribers in the US alone. 91% of the entire population in the US has a cell phone. The bulk of that has been added since the late 90s, so you can see how quickly the industry is growing. 2.6 trillion minutes of use per year. 7 billion minutes of cellular phone calling is going on every single day. That's 798 minutes per user per month. 13 hours is what the average person is spending on the phone today. So does that tell you where a lot of their attention is going? And these numbers, you look at 2.6 trillion. The only thing bigger than this is the national debt. And it's growing faster than this. That's the only thing we're trying to catch up with. All right. And then 53 million wireless-only users. So who in here, raise your hand, only has a wireless phone, no landline anymore? Look at this. If I asked that question just a year ago, maybe 2 hands would have gone up. But that's how it's becoming so pervasive. So many people out there have only wireless, no wired connection, no home phone. Most companies are going away from office phones. They're putting in VoIP, where you can use it sort of virtually anywhere, even on your phone, your cell phone. But right now, 1 in 2.5 18 to 29-year-olds, that's all they've got. This is a whole new generation being weaned only on a wireless phone. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. All right, then let's take a look at a little different trend. So that was sort of the wireless cell phones, that kind of thing. Now let's look at wireless data, because that's the next huge growth. Wireless data, today, you're actually having, or we're actually having more wireless data traffic over the wireless networks than we're having cell phone conversations. So that tells you last year it just finally hit that cross point where more data traffic, text messages, email checking, surfing the web, looking at Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Actually, more traffic on data than there is on voice. So now you can see this trend is kind of shifting a little bit. And drilling down just a little bit more, and I'll get out of these bar charts and graphs and stuff like that in just a second. So broadband adoption. 2005 to 2012, looking a little bit ahead. Right now, there's actually more broadband, wireless, mobile, being activated and used than there is fixed broadband being activated and used, right? So now everybody's going from, like they used to, landline to wireless cell phones. Now they're going fixed data to wireless mobile. And next year, another cross-section is going to happen where more smartphones are going to be sold than feature phones. So people, entry level for a smartphone is $70 per month just to get involved, but actually people are stepping up to that higher rate plan at a much higher adoption rate than people wanting to buy the cheap, inexpensive cell phone only, or feature phone they call it, no data or anything like that. Okay, so really it comes down to the perfect storm. This is my setup for the day. So you're noticing that next year more smartphones are going to be purchased than regular phones, than feature phones. And here's the reason why. There's a little battle going on in 4 different spaces. Operating systems, the OS space, such as REM, Apple, Google Android, and even Windows Mobile. Windows Mobile 7 is coming out really soon. And those 4 main ones are really starting to fight because they know that's where all the growth is. That's where everybody's going to, and they want to hold your experience in their operating system. So when you're on your phone, you want to buy a phone. Is it going to be with RIM, who's had a fantastic run, but is kind of floundering right now, trying to figure out how do they get this, everybody knows them from email, but they don't know them any other way. And this whole shift toward social media, things like that on a mobile phone, where Apple has just come in and done a fantastic job shifting mind share away from REM, saying forget corporate email. You can give up that if you get all this in our phone. So you have video and music and this whole new rich experience with Apple and their operating system. Of course, Android, just to show you how quick things are changing, just last year came in, and from last year, I should say, where they had 1.8% of the market share, jumped up, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, they actually surpassed Apple with market share?
Not with market share, but their
adoption.
In terms of growth.
Okay.
And they're almost on par.
So, things like with Apple, you have their own space, but you can't really do much else. So if you want to go to their market, their online market, and you put on a game on your phone or some business creativity application or something like that, you have their space and only Apple's space, and that's it. Only those applications that you can choose from. Where Google's come along and said, hey, not just one carrier, any carrier you can use our operating system on, and any manufacturer of handset. And by the way, our marketplace is wide open. So you